Have you ever felt like the future was a blank canvas, but not one full of possibilities, rather an empty, terrifying screen? Has it ever happened that you tried to plan for tomorrow, or even the next week, and felt a kind of paralysis, as if the very idea of moving forward was just too heavy? If you're here, perhaps you know what it's like to feel that the timeline of your life, which once seemed so clear, suddenly unraveled. There was a time when the future was a series of connected dots. Not a perfect map, perhaps, but a line stretching ahead with visible milestones. The next promotion, summer vacation, a child's graduation, a peaceful retirement. For David, an architect who spent his days organizing structures on blueprints, this line was his comfort. He loved the order, the predictability of calculations, the quiet focus that allowed designs to take shape. His life was like a well-engineered building, clearly defined phases, a construction plan that unfolded logically, and the certainty that, in the end, there would be a solid completion. He planned his weekly projects, his weekend hikes, even the small upgrades in his apartment. It wasn't a life of grand adventures, but it was a life of purpose and quiet security. Until the doctor's call came. Not about him, but about his mother. A diagnosis that turned David's world upside down. Not with a bang, but with a deafening silence. A degenerative, progressive disease with no cure. Suddenly, the line of the future no longer had connected dots. It fell apart. The following days were a blur of appointments, internet searches, and the suffocating feeling that the ground had disappeared beneath his feet. David continued to go to the office, but the lines on the blueprints seemed blurred. He tried to organize new projects, but his hands trembled. Where there was once clarity, now there was a dense fog. How could he plan the next phase of his life, or even the next day when the main structure had become a scriptless tragedy? The idea of thinking about tomorrow, of making plans, of dreaming of anything other than the imminent pain, was an impossible task. It was as if his mind, accustomed to drawing lines and organizing information, had simply shut down. Paralyzed by the brutal uncertainty of what was to come, and the inability to envision anything but darkness. Maybe that's not exactly your story. Maybe the details are different, the loss unique to you. But maybe the feeling is familiar. That sense of being utterly stuck, unable to see a way forward, paralyzed by a future that feels less like an open road and more like a gaping void. Perhaps you've lost a job, a relationship, a dream you held dear, and now the very idea of tomorrow feels heavy, impossible, even frightening. You might be here because you're tired of pretending you have it all together, tired of the well-meaning advice that feels hollow, tired of trying to force yourself to just move on. In this space, we're going to walk through something together. Not to fix anything, not to offer quick answers, but to simply be present with the ache. We'll share a story, turn to an ancient psalm that speaks to this very human fear, reflect on what it might mean for us today, and then, if you're willing, we'll pray. As we do this, you'll see a candle burning here with me. It's a quiet symbol, a reminder that even when everything feels dark, when the path ahead is obscured, there is a light. Not a light that magically makes the darkness disappear, but a light that arrives in the middle of it. A gentle presence when answers are nowhere to be found. David, surrounded by structures of all kinds, couldn't find the thread of his own. The silence of the office, once a refuge, now echoed with the terrifying question, what now? The future, once an open blueprint, was now a blank, frightening page. He didn't know how to turn it. The silence in David's office, once a comfort, now felt like a vast, empty space, much like the future he could no longer envision. That feeling, that profound sense of being adrift, unable to chart a course for even the next few hours, is a heavy burden to carry. It's the kind of weight that settles in your chest when you wake up in the morning, before your feet even hit the floor, whispering that there's nothing to look forward to, nothing to plan for. It strips away not just hope, but the very capacity to hope, leaving you in a kind of emotional paralysis. You might find yourself avoiding conversations about what's next, or feeling a surge of anxiety when someone asks about your long-term goals. It's the fear of saying out loud that you simply don't know, that you can't see a way, that the future once a friend has become a terrifying stranger. It's a lonely place to be, isn't it? To feel that specific kind of fear, the one that whispers, "What if there's no tomorrow I can bear to imagine?" But what if I told you that 3,000 years ago someone felt exactly this? They faced an unknown so vast, so terrifying, that they poured their heart out to God, not with easy answers but with raw honesty. And they wrote it down. This is from Psalm 31. Listen to these words, not as ancient scripture to be studied, but as a voice that knows the texture of your fear, the weight of your uncertainty. My times. Pause there for a moment. My times. Not just the good times, not just the easy times, but all of them. The moments of joy, yes, but also the moments of confusion, the moments of despair, the moments when the clock seems to tick without purpose. The psalmist isn't cherry-picking. They're laying it all out. Are in your hands. This isn't a neat theological statement, is it? It's a declaration made from the very edge of desperation. It's the sound of someone who has lost control, who has seen their own carefully constructed future crumble, and in that moment of utter vulnerability they look up and say, "I can't hold this anymore. You hold it." It's a surrender, not of strength, but of utter exhaustion. It's the acknowledgement that when you can't see the next step, when the path ahead is shrouded in fog, there is still a hand that holds the very fabric of time itself. This psalm doesn't offer a quick fix. It doesn't promise that the pain will disappear or that the future will suddenly become clear. Instead, it offers a presence. It's like someone walking into a dark room where you're sitting, lost and afraid, and quietly sitting down beside you. They don't explain away the darkness. They just are there. Look at the candle burning here with me. Its flame doesn't banish the night from the entire room, does it? But it burns steadily, a small persistent point of light. It's a reminder that God's presence isn't always a booming voice or a dramatic intervention. Sometimes it's just a quiet, unwavering light in the darkness, a steady flame even when everything else feels chaotic and uncertain. It's there, even when nothing is felt, even when the silence is deafening. We've just touched on that profound, almost desperate declaration from Psalm 31, "My times are in your hands." It's a phrase that resonates deeply when our own hands feel empty, when our grip on the future has slipped away. It's not an easy answer, but a raw, honest cry from someone who knew what it was like to face an unknown, to feel that paralyzing fear of what tomorrow might bring. Let's sit with that image for a moment. My times are in your hands. When you feel that deep, unsettling fear about the future, that inability to even imagine what's next, doesn't it often come from a place of feeling utterly out of control? Like David, staring at his blank drafting paper, or you perhaps, trying to sketch out a plan that keeps dissolving. You try to grasp at certainty, to force a vision, but it slips through your fingers. So what does it mean then, to say that your times, all of them, the past, the present, and that terrifying blank future, are in God's hands? It's not about God magically fixing everything or giving you a detailed itinerary for the next 5 years. It's about acknowledging that there's a larger hand at work, a presence that holds the very fabric of existence, even when your own world feels like it's unraveling. It's an invitation to release the crushing burden of needing to control what cannot be controlled. It's a whisper that says, "You don't have to carry this alone." It's a profound act of trust, born not from strength, but from the recognition of your own limits. Now let's look at another powerful image that often appears in Psalms of lament and trust, and is echoed throughout Scripture: the idea of God as a strong fortress or a rock of refuge. Psalm 31 itself begins with, "In you, Lord, I have taken refuge. Let me never be put to shame. Deliver me in your righteousness." When your future feels like shifting sand, when every step you try to take feels uncertain and precarious, don't you long for something solid, something unmoving? A place where you can simply be, without fear of falling. This image of God as a fortress or a rock isn't about escaping your current reality. It's about finding stability within the instability. It's not that the storm disappears, but that you find a shelter in the midst of it. When the fear of the unknown paralyzes you, when the thought of tomorrow brings a wave of anxiety, this image reminds us that there is a place of safety, a refuge for your soul, even when your circumstances remain chaotic. It's a spiritual anchor, a quiet assurance that even if everything around you crumbles, there is a foundation that remains. It's a place to bring your exhaustion, your shame, your feeling of being forgotten, and simply rest, knowing you are held. This psalm, like many others, doesn't shy away from the raw emotions of lament. It gives us permission to cry out, to question, to even feel angry at the uncertainty. It doesn't rush to comfort you with platitudes. Instead, it offers a space for your pain, acknowledging that the struggle is real. It says, it's okay to not be okay. It's okay to feel lost. Bring all of that here. The candle continues to burn, a steady, quiet presence. It doesn't shout, doesn't demand attention. It simply is. A small, unwavering light in the vastness, a reminder of a presence that holds, even when you can't feel it, even when the future is a terrifying blank. We've been sitting with the powerful images from Psalm 31, particularly the profound declaration, "My times are in your hands," and the comforting idea of God as our strong fortress or rock of refuge. These aren't just poetic phrases. They are anchors for the soul when the future feels like a storm. Let's deepen our understanding of this idea of God as a refuge when the fear of tomorrow feels overwhelming. When you're caught in the grip of anxiety about what's next, when the paralysis sets in and you can't envision a bearable future, doesn't it feel like you're exposed, vulnerable with no place to hide from the relentless questions and fears? The psalm doesn't suggest that the dangers disappear or that the storm clouds vanish. Instead, it points to a truth that can change how you experience the storm. That there is a place within God's presence where you are safe, where you are held. It's not about God waiting for you at the other side of the valley, but about Him walking through the valley with you. This refuge isn't a magical escape from your circumstances, but a deep internal sense of being protected and cared for, even when everything around you is chaotic. It's the quiet assurance that you are not alone in this terrifying uncertainty. And what about that central phrase, "My times are in your hands"? We've explored it as a cry of surrender, a recognition of lost control. But there's another layer here, a gentle invitation. When you feel completely overwhelmed by the need to figure everything out, to force a solution, to somehow create a future you can live with, doesn't that burden become almost unbearable? This phrase, "My times are in your hands" becomes an invitation to release that burden, even if just for a moment. It's not a passive resignation, but an active choice to place your unwritten future, your fears, your anxieties, into a care that is larger and more capable than your own. It's a way of saying, I don't have to carry this crushing weight of the unknown by myself. It allows for a moment of breath, a tiny space where you can let go of the relentless pressure to predict, to control, to solve. It's about trusting that even when you can't see the path, the one who holds your times does. So how can this psalm, these ancient words, enter your daily life when the fear of the future strikes? Returning to a specific verse. When that wave of anxiety about tomorrow washes over you, and try to recall that phrase. My times are in your hands. Don't try to believe it with all your might if you can't. Just say it. Let the words be a gentle whisper in the storm of your thoughts. It's not about feeling it immediately, but about planting a seed of truth. Sitting with a line before sleep. If the nights are when the fear of the unknown feels most acute, try taking a line from Psalm 31. Perhaps, "You are my God," or "Let me never be put to shame," and simply sit with it. Let it be the last thought before you drift off, a quiet anchor in the darkness. Saying a phrase out loud. When the weight becomes too much, when the paralysis feels absolute, sometimes speaking truth out loud can shift something. Whisper or say aloud, "My times are in your hands, Lord." It's a declaration, a prayer, a release, all rolled into one. It's an act of faith, even when faith feels fragile. As you do this, remember the candle burning here. It's not just a visual, it's an anchor. When your mind races, when the future feels like a dark tunnel, let your gaze rest on that steady flame. It's a reminder that light is present, even when everything else feels dark. It's a quiet testament to a presence that sustains, even when your own capacity to endure feels depleted. Before we go any further, I want you to take a breath. Just one deep, slow breath. And if any of these thoughts about how the psalm can enter your daily life resonated with you, perhaps you might consider sharing in the comments below what helps you when the fear of tomorrow feels overwhelming. It's a way for us to learn from each other in this shared space. Sometimes words need to stop, and the silence does what no sentence can. Look at the candle. See the flame, how it dances ever so slightly. A tiny beacon against the deeper shadows. Notice the warmth it seems to cast, even from a distance. It's steady, isn't it? Quietly persistent. I invite you to breathe. Just breathe. Don't try to figure anything out for this moment. Don't try to solve the future or even understand the past. Simply be present. Let your gaze rest on that small, unwavering light. It's a quiet suggestion of God's presence, not an explanation. Just a gentle, steady light, here with you now. We've taken a moment to breathe, to simply be present with the quiet light of the candle. Now let's return to the heart of what we're exploring, this profound paralysis that comes when the future feels like a terrifying blank. I don't know if this will make sense, but there's something I keep coming back to when I think about this kind of fear. It's the raw, unvarnished truth that when you're in this place, prayer can feel like talking to the ceiling. Believing in God doesn't magically make the fear disappear. In fact, sometimes, when you're in the deepest parts of this valley, God can seem so absent, so quiet for so long, that you begin to wonder if He was ever really there at all. The silence can be deafening, and the darkness, absolute. It's okay to admit that. It's okay to feel that. This isn't a sign of weak faith. It's a sign of being human, of being honest in the face of overwhelming pain. And here's the honest tension. I don't have all the answers. No one does. Pain doesn't just vanish because faith exists. The valley is real, and sometimes it is very, very long. There are no guarantees that circumstances will change or that the future will suddenly become clear and bright. To pretend otherwise would be to deny the very reality you are living. Your struggle is not a sign of a flawed spirit. It is a sign of a life lived, a heart that has known loss, a soul that is grappling with the profound mystery of suffering. But there's something else I've been sitting with for a while, something that shifts the angle, even if it doesn't resolve the tension. It's a reorientation, not a resolution. It's the quiet realization that perhaps the goal isn't to get out of the valley as quickly as possible, but to learn how to remain standing inside it, to find a way to breathe, to exist, to even find a flicker of presence while the darkness is still very much real. It's about finding a way to be held even when you feel utterly unmoored. Remember that central image from Psalm 31, "My times are in your hands." When we first encountered it, it felt like a desperate cry, a surrender born of exhaustion. Now perhaps it can begin to take on a new layer of meaning. It's not just about giving up control because you're too tired to fight. It's about recognizing that the very act of placing your uncertain, terrifying future into hands larger than your own is, in itself, an act of defiance against the paralysis. It's a quiet, courageous statement that even when you can't see the path, even when you can't take the next step on your own, you are not utterly abandoned. It's the understanding that the hand that holds your times is not a hand that judges or demands, but a hand that holds. It's a gentle, firm embrace in the midst of the chaos, a quiet assurance that you are not alone in this terrifying journey through the unknown. This isn't about the future suddenly becoming clear. It's about finding a way to be present in the now, held by a presence that transcends time itself. The candle still burning is a perfect image for this. The light isn't at the end of the tunnel, promising an escape. The light is inside the tunnel, right here, right now, illuminating just enough of the immediate space for you to simply be. It's a quiet, unwavering companion in the darkness. The pacing of this journey through the valley is slow. There are no shortcuts. But perhaps in this slowness, in this quiet holding, your heart can begin to open, just a little, to the possibility of a different kind of presence. A presence that doesn't demand you be strong, but simply asks you to be. If this idea of reorientation, not resolution, speaks to you, or if you found your own way to stand within the valley, I invite you to share your thoughts in the comments. Your experience might be the light someone else needs. We've walked through some difficult terrain together, acknowledging the raw, honest truth of what it feels like when the future feels like a terrifying blank. We've sat with the silence, the doubt, and the profound exhaustion that comes with trying to navigate an unknown path. And we've gently explored the ancient wisdom of a psalm that speaks to this very human experience. Now, as we move towards the close of our time together, I want to invite you into a space of prayer. This isn't about performing, or finding the right words, or even feeling a particular way. It's simply about showing up just as you are, with everything you're carrying. If you feel comfortable, you might want to place a hand over your heart, or close your eyes, or simply rest your gaze on the candle burning here. Take one slow, deep breath before we begin. These are just invitations, not instructions. Do whatever feels right for you in this moment. I don't know if it's a coincidence that you ended up watching this video today. Maybe it is. But maybe, just maybe, there's a reason you're here, in this moment, seeking a space to simply be with your fear of the future. And if that's the case, know that God can work with exactly what you've brought to this moment. The doubt, the exhaustion, the half-belief, the anger, the confusion, the sheer inability to pray. You don't need to clean yourself up or pretend to be stronger than you are. Just bring your honest self. There's a quiet intimacy in this space, a grounded hope that isn't about excitement or urgency, but simply about presence. A presence that holds, even when you feel like you're falling apart. If you're ready, we're going to pray together now. Oh God, here we are. We come to you with the heavy weight of a future we cannot see, a tomorrow that feels less like a promise and more like a threat. We name the paralysis, the fear that grips us when we try to imagine what's next. We confess the anguish of losing the illusion of control, the pain of dreams shattered, and the terror of an empty page where our life story used to be written. We feel lost, Lord, truly lost, unable to envision a bearable tomorrow, and sometimes we're just too tired to even try. We bring you this specific raw ache, this inability to move, this profound uncertainty that steals our peace and our sleep. And yet, in this very moment, in this quiet space, we declare that you are here, not as a distant judge, not as a demanding taskmaster, but as a gentle, unwavering presence. You are here in the silence, in the fear, in the doubt. You are here even when we cannot feel you, even when our prayers feel like whispers lost in the wind. Your presence is not dependent on our belief or our strength or our ability to feel you. You simply are. And you are with us right now in this valley of unknowing. So we ask, Lord, for the specific things we need. We ask for the grace to simply get through the next morning, to find the strength to rise, even when the bed feels like the only safe place. We ask for a moment of stillness in the middle of the night, a brief respite from the racing thoughts and the relentless anxiety about what lies ahead. We ask for the capacity to trust, even when trust feels utterly unreasonable, when every fiber of our being screams for certainty. Give us the strength to take just one more step, Lord, without needing to know where the path leads, without needing to see the entire journey. Just one step. Help us to breathe, to exist, to simply be in this terrifying present. And so, we lay it all down. Our fears, our plans, our desperate need to control. We surrender this terrifying blank future into your hands. We release the burden of needing to know, of needing to see. We whisper with the psalmist, "My times are in your hands." Not because we understand it, but because we cannot carry it alone anymore. We place our unwritten tomorrow, our fragile hope, our weary souls, into your keeping. Amen. God heard that prayer. Every word, every unspoken fear, every weary sigh. He heard it. The journey through the unknown is rarely easy, and the fear of the future can be a relentless companion. But remember this space, this quiet moment, and this candle that has burned steadily beside us. When the weight comes back, and it might, know that you can return here. You can return to these words, to this prayer, to this quiet presence. And perhaps, as you find a flicker of light in your own darkness, you might become that light for someone else. Think of one person you know, someone whose name comes to mind right now, who might be walking through their own valley, paralyzed by their own fear of tomorrow. Share this video with them, not as a solution, but as an invitation to a shared space of honesty and gentle presence. If you found a moment of peace here, or a quiet sense of being understood, consider subscribing to this channel. It's a way of staying connected to this kind of content, a reminder that you are not alone in your journey of faith through the darkness. And if you feel moved to, leave a comment below. Share if you'd like what valley you're walking through and which psalm you'd want to hear next. Your honesty helps us all feel a little less alone. Thank you for being here. May you find strength for the next step and peace in the quiet knowledge that your times are indeed in His hands.